Hello, my name is Duran Simon. I am Selkirk First Nation person. I have graduated from the school in the small town of Pelly Crossing, and I have never did any type of drug or any alcohol ever in my life. And most people are surprised to hear that from a First Nation person. I'm making this documentary on the First Nations' bad reputation and our poor education, and ask why. I have an interview with this young man who has lived a drug and alcohol abusive lifestyle. He has dropped out of school, but he's trying to make his life better. I'm going to ask him a few questions.
So as a youth, growing up in Yukon, did you get the same opportunities as other kids growing up in
Oh
school?
yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah. But if so, even more. Because in big cities, they don't get to go out on the land as much. Here you get to go out on the land. Just big opportunities. Yeah,
Is it alright if I ask you questions about drugs and alcohol?
sure.
Yeah. Well, what age were you exposed to some sort of drugs or alcohol?
Well, probably like most other people at a young age, but it's up to you. You choose your situation, right?
Yeah, it's all about a matter of choice.
Yeah, you got the power to do what you want. Yeah.
Uh, is there any advice for kids today about staying in school or drugs and alcohol?
Well, you're better off listening to mom and dad, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. One more question. How do you think drugs and alcohol impacted your life?
Oh, probably negatively, and that's inevitable, you know.
Yeah.
That's what comes with drugs and alcohol. Yeah.
Talking to that man has got me thinking about today's First Nations youth choices today. Maybe I could find a good role model and ask her some questions. Hello, can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Tashina Karlik. I'm from Kwandon First Nation, and I'm currently going to school here full time and working with youth on the weekends.
My first question is, how was it like growing up as a First Nation woman?
It has its obstacles. It really does. There's so much negativity in Whitehorse alone, and you have to find your own way. And it's either education or
Did you feel any inequalities or unequalness?
mm, what do you mean about that?
Like, did people treat you differently because you're a woman or a First Nations person?
Probably a little bit of a First Nations person, but not that much.
Right. Do you know a lot of people who have partaken a drug and alcoholic abusive lifestyle?
Yes. Majority of my friends and family.
How has that affected you?
Um, kind of leaded myself into that in my younger days. Going through parties, and it could be so easy to lose yourself.
What made you want to party and drink?
I don't know, friends?
Peer pressure?
Yes, peer pressure, that's for sure.
Mm.
And just being young and dumb. Just, yes, it's terrible.
So, what made you like not? I would say as a get like sucked into that lifestyle. What made you not like get addicted or
My mother for sure. And I'm not too sure. Work?
just family support and
Yeah, family
a
support.
goal to get work to? Yeah. I'd like to thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
After talking to Tashina, she recommended a friend to talk to for a different perspective. Hello, can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Whitney Johnson Ward. I grew up in Champaign. My mother's from Carcross area, Atlan, and my father's from the Champaign area.
How was it like growing up as a
Champagne Ajax First Nation?
It was good. I love Champagne. I love my home. I like growing up the way I did. I spent a lot of time in the bush with my family, so.
Yeah, you had a cultural education, you'd say?
Yeah, I would say so.
How about for like the normal education
Yeah,
in the Whitehorse school?
I finished my high school and ended up grading, and I recently was going to university for environmental science. I took a semester off, but I'll be returning in a closer place in September.
Did you feel any like inequalities or treated differently because you were a First Nation woman growing up in school? Did anyone treat you differently, or?
Not so much at school. I think because I guess there probably is some differences, but just none that really affected me too much. But in the Yukon, there's so many First Nations that like it's kind of easier. Like for some people maybe, but some people might find it harder.
Did drugs and alcohol have an impact on you, like growing up?
Yeah, I guess so. Probably a lot of people. I grew up with seeing it around all the time. It has impacted my life, but I'm kind of made choices. I was kind of lucky that I made choices to try and get away from that. It's like how it affected me is kind of, I don't want to go down that road.
Yeah, you changed and like other people got like sucked into that road and lifestyle?
Yeah, I got sucked into it for a bit, but it got to a point where I was like, I can't live like this.
What made you just want to start that drugs and alcohol?
I don't know, I just you could hit your teenage years, and teenage years are rough.
Curiosity or peer pressure?
Not peer pressure, I think it's just your own choices, everyone's doing it, and you want to do it, and it's fun for a bit, but that goes away pretty fast.
So what made you decide to change your lifestyle for the better?
I just got tired of being where I was, doing the same thing, and then I just chose to start pushing myself, because I always said that I want to get my degree and I want to get my education. I always knew that I would, even though I was going down different paths at times, but I just got tired of it, and I started making changes towards going to university, and so it's just, even though it's always there and it's always beside you, and sometimes I struggle with it, but I always know that I have to keep going towards my goals. So
that's good, and I hope the best of luck for you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. That's all the time I have for.
Okay.
After talking to those two amazing First Nation women has got me thinking that big dreamers and high-achieving Native people, they can't be a rare breed, can they?
Hello, how can you introduce yourself?
My name is Serena Sidney. I am a member of Quarlandun First Nation, and my dad's from Trondequichin, but transferred from Quarlandun to Quarlandun.
How would you say that growing up as a Quarlandun First Nation in Whitehorse school, how did you say you get the same education as, per se, other kids?
Yeah. I went to Elijah Smith, and they were really good there. I had problems reading, so they took me aside and with one-on-one teaching, so I was able to read a lot better after that.
Did you, growing up, did you feel any differences or inequalities from anyone else?
Well, my dad never let me hang out with the Quarlandun community. Pretty much, he let me, but we never lived in the community. And so I feel like I got discriminated against by my own First Nation because I wasn't hanging out with them or drinking and doing drugs with them.
For saying, on the topic of drinking and doing drugs, would you know a lot of First Nations people that do partake in that lifestyle?
Yes, I do. A lot of my family does it, and that's why I don't hang around that my family as much because I don't want to be
Sucked into that lifestyle?
Yeah.
Did you ever partake in that lifestyle before?
I do go out almost every weekend. So, yes, I do partake in that lifestyle a bit, but I'm able to keep a job and
Control
pay
yourself?
my bills. Yes.
So how would you say that growing up and like knowing other people who live that lifestyle, how would you say that it affected you?
My dad kind of sheltered me a lot with that whenever he found out that my family was drinking again. He wouldn't let us go visit them, only when they were sober. So I didn't get to see a lot of alcoholism. I knew it was affecting my family, but I never seen it firsthand.
Right. So you'd say you had a pretty good education and pretty good lifestyle choices?
Yeah, throughout high school, I decided to stay with a group of friends that didn't like that kind of lifestyle either or wanted to get out of that lifestyle. So I was able to graduate on time, and then I went to school right away.
That's good. I would like to thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
It seems as a First Nation person that drugs and alcohol are always present for us. I'm going to talk to
My
someone
name's
who
Dallas Smith.
is not
I'm
as
19
interested
years
in
old.
partying like
I
me.
was born and raised in Whitehorse, and I'm Champagne-Ojak First Nations. So,
Have you grew up in Whitehorse with going to school here?
yeah, yeah.
Did you say you had the same education or same opportunities as other kids that are non-First Nation?
I went to 2 elementary schools, and in the first one, no, I didn't. I was automatically put into a different class with a few other First Nations people, and up till grade 4, we took different math classes and English classes and social studies and all that stuff. And then I went to Elijah Smith, and it was a huge shock because I was put in with everybody else, and I had the same classes as them, and I pushed really hard to get different classes, like easier classes, I suppose, and but they wouldn't let me, and I'm glad they didn't. So
That's good. How do you know anyone who grew up and quit school due to drugs or alcohol?
yeah, yeah. All my friends that I met in elementary school, eventually, again in the first year or so, we all kind of like split up and did our own thing. A lot of them, they kind of stayed together and they fell into those patterns, and it just never appealed to me. So
So have you ever partaken in that lifestyle?
no, no. Like now, like the first time I drank, I was 16 years old, but that was a glass of wine, and so that's how I drink now. Is a glass of wine with dinner.
Just responsible drinking?
Yeah,
I see.
it's a different style.
So what made you not want to partake in the lifestyle?
It's just I was surrounded by it. Like, no, my parents they were never like that. It's just I saw that happen to my brother. So yeah, I really don't know. I ask myself this all the time. It's like why did I not fall into those patterns? It's just not who I am, and I did my own thing. Like I liked reading, so I read. So
Any advices for any kids growing up nowadays that might want to try or anything?
stuff. High school is such a small part of your life, and it doesn't really mean a whole lot. So don't fall into those patterns. Don't fall in with your peers and get into their bad habits too. It's like it'll all be done very quickly, and it'll all get better. It'll always get better.
Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem.
After talking to those amazing First Nation people, to the strong men trying to change their lifestyle and better themselves, to the beautiful, dedicated women trying to achieve their dream, it's that drugs and alcohol has impacted our people so heavily that it prevents us from achieving our dream or getting a good education. But I do believe in our people will find our way soon again. Perhaps instead of focusing on a question, I should focus on the solution. I intend to not travel on the path traveled by most. I intend to go where there is no path and leave a trail. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.